Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Why I'm here today is because I am sick of being ashamed to be an Australian. And I became very sick of that during the Howard era. I regarded the intervention legislation as some of the worst legislation that was ever passed by the federal parliament. And let's not forget who voted for it. The then opposition to a man and woman, as well as the then government. But you might have thought, with the change of government, and I certainly did, that that might have been a tactical move, and that they didn't really believe that that was the appropriate policy. Regrettably, I was wrong, and we were wrong, because this government has actually continued the policies of the Howard government, even though it was elected because people were sick of the Howard government. It's continued those policies towards Aboriginal people to the point where it's now introducing legislation, or has introduced legislation, which will go before the Senate on Monday, I understand, which will actually embody the worst aspects of the intervention, and that it's embodied by a fraud. Because the fraud is that there was consultation with the Aboriginal people in the Northern Territory who agreed with the so-called special measures. Now, the only evidence that's ever been produced about that are 4 videos that were taken of the so-called consultations. They were distinguished by the incompetence of the people doing the consultation, the fact that it wasn't a consultation at all, and the fact that even though it wasn't a consultation, the Aboriginal people, almost to a man and woman, opposed it. Now that's the only evidence that has been produced, and that wasn't produced by the government. Macklin has not produced any evidence at all. She produces assertions that people are better off. She talks about surveys done of businesses and stores, and they ask them, will they buy more fruit, and they say yes. So that's the evidence she's using. No objective evidence at all, nothing. And the reality is that what's happening is, and this is terribly important, the government says it's reintroducing the Racial Discrimination Act to the areas of the territory that Howard suspended it from. But the fact is that in the same legislation that they're reintroducing the Racial Discrimination Act, they're reintroducing about 7 aspects of racial discrimination under the guise of special measures. Now, what sort of a government is this that will do that sort of thing? It seems to me that it is something that we just should not tolerate, and I must say that the only honest party in the federal parliament that's prepared to deal with this issue of the Greens have been consistent throughout, and I must say, as a former ALP candidate back in the 70s, supported the ALP over many years. I no longer support it, following what it's done with the Aboriginal people, and I can only say that I hope the Greens do extremely well at the forthcoming federal election for that reason. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you anyway for listening to me, and let's hope that in some way and somehow we'll be able to have our voices heard, and in some way the Aboriginal people will cease to be betrayed by successive Australian governments. Thank you.